Hello friends, welcome to lecture of town planning. This is module number 6 and in this module we are going to study the multi-level planning. Generally the multi-level planning is opposed to centralized planning, is an exercise where local institutions are actively involved not only at the implementation level but multi-level planning involves all hierarchies of administrative, geographical, political and regional levels in planning process. Also it seeks to involve active participation of the lower hierarchical levels in information generation, data collection, policy suggestion, plan implementation and monitoring of all developmental activities. A planning process can be either single level or multi-level. In the single level planning, the formulation of plans and decision making are done at the national level. The process is centralized and the lower terrestrial levels came into the picture only at the implementation stage. Whereas on the other part, in the multi-level planning process, the national territory is divided into small territorial units. Their number depending upon the size of the country, the administrative, the geographical and cultural setting. The concept of multi-level regional planning may be defined as planning for a variety of regions which together form a system and subordinate systems. In multi-level planning, the various levels of planning provide basis for higher level planning. Similarly, the higher level regional plans provide the basic framework for the lower level plans. In such plans, there is a direct participation of the people in the planning process. In multi-level planning, every region unit constitutes a system and hence the planning process becomes more effective. Since multi-level planning involves the sharing of policy and planning functions with the sub-national levels, following 6 operational principles have been suggested for devising necessary mechanisms and procedures for effective flows of information, for planning and for frequent interaction with the participating levels. They are the principle of function sharing, the principle of financial decentralization, the principle of administrative decentralization and the principle of public participation. So here we are going to see multi-level planning in India. In India, our planning process has mostly been centralized and a single level sectored planning has been going on for a long time. On the other hand, in the multi-level planning process, the national territory is divided into small territorial units. Their number depending upon the size of the country, its administrative, geographical and regional structure. In India, following 5 stages of multi-level planning has been recognized. These includes national level sectored cum interstate / inter-regional planning. Second is state level sectored cum inter-district cum inter-regional planning. Then district / metropolitan level / regional planning. Then block level / area planning. Then Panchayat level village planning. These also denote 5 different phases of change in the policy of the planning in the country. Before the amendment of the Constitution in 1992, the task of plan formulation was basically carried out by the center and the state government. The other levels, that is district, block and village of the planning process came into the picture only at the implementation stage of planning. However, after 1992, the lower level of planning have been given more powers in the formulation and implementation of their plans and financial provisions. Then we will see the first level planning. At national level, Planning Commission is the nodal agency responsible for the country's planning. The Prime Minister is the chairman of this commission. It not only prepares plan for the country but also coordinates the sector developed works of different ministries of the central government, states and union territories. Also, the function of the Planning Commission are supervised through the National Development Council. The Planning Commission has been granted constitutional status through 52nd Amendment of the Constitution. No big plan can be executed without its prior approval by the Planning Commission. Therefore, the Commission formulates 3 types of plans. One is perspective plan for 15 to 25 years. Then second is 5-year plan and annual plans with the framework of 5-year plan. In real sense of the term, the perspective planning is of little significance except that it helps in the achievement of long-term socio-economic objectives. The Planning Commission also issues guidelines to the states for perspective planning, monitoring and evaluation of existing plans, plan formulation, regional or district planning and for plan coordination. Then we will see the second level or state level planning. At state level, the mechanism of planning is almost same as that of national level. The State Planning Board acts like National Planning Commission and coordinates the development plan of different ministries and districts. It also has the responsibility for the formulation, implementation and monitoring of state plan. It is in constant touch with the Planning Commission regarding the formulation of plans and allocation of resources. Under the federal setup of country, states enjoys autonomy in the certain state subjects and play a pivotal role in the implementation of planning programs. It is at state level that all sorts of economic and social data are available and development plans could be formulated keeping regional interest and demands in mind. Hence, there is a need for more rigorous exercise of planning at state level. Those states which are conspicuous of their responsibility and are showing interest in plan formulation and implementation are displaying better performance in development programs. Andhra Pradesh case may be cited as an example. In fact, the center and the state are the two principal actors in planning and they should move in to achieve the objective and priorities laid down in the plan. Then in this slide we are going to see the district level planning. These are generally 3 levels below the state level, namely district, block and village. The district administration is under the overall charge of collector, also known as deputy commissioner in some states. He is responsible for maintaining law and order in the district. He also works as a coordinator among various departments. Important departments located in the district include the agricultural, minor, medium and major irrigation, animal husbandry, dairy, forestry, industries, public works, cooperation, education, medical and public health, social welfare and Panchayat Raj, etc. Besides these, there are autonomous agencies with offices in the district such as Electricity Board, State Transport and special agencies set up for special programs. Though the collector generally works as a coordinator, his role is not defined properly and differs in different states. This introduces complexities and difficulties in the task of administration. Then in the block level planning. Block is an important unit of micro level planning. These development blocks were created to supervise the implementation of development plans under the community development program initiated during the first 5-year plan. Each district was divided into a number of blocks and each block comprised about 100 villages with a population of about 60,000. The program visualized mobilization of local resources, participation of the people in the decision making and implementation of the development schemes. Hence, a new unit of planning was created at block level under the leadership of a block development officer and a team of various specialists and village level workers, that is officers. The general supervision of block was made by the block committees under the chairmanship of the block pramukh and elected representatives. Although the community development program failed, but block continued to become an important unit of micro level planning below the district. The 5th year plan, that is 1978 to 83, opted for area planning with a preference of block level planning for achieving employment objectives and emphasis on rural development. The main objective of this planning was to absorb local labor surpluses and greater involvement of people in the formulation and implementation of development plans. Then in this slide we are going to see Panchayat level planning. The directive principle of state policy mention the village Panchayat, which is an elected body at village level. Village here roughly correspond to a revenue village or a group of revenue villages. The Panchayati Raj system involves a three-tier structure consisting of village level, block level and district level. The first tier at village level is commonly known as Gram Panchayat, that is village assembly. The second tier at block level as Panchayat Samiti, and third tier at a district level as Jilla Parishad. Then the Panchayat level planning. According to the provisions of the Panchayat Act 1996, the election to the village Panchayat is held at an interval of 5 years, where there is proportionate seat of reservation for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes and not less than 1/3 seats reserved for women. Though the Constitution Amendment Act 1992, the Panchayat, also called Gram Sabha, has been authorized to look after the preparation and implementation of plans for economic development and social justice on an illustrative list of 29 subjects. The respective state has been given discrepancy powers to prescribe powers and function to the Gram Sabha to act as an institution of self-government. In this slide we are going to see again the implementation of Panchayat level planning. The implementation of plan at Panchayat level is the responsibility of village development officer, that is VDO, and the secretary, and is supervised by the Gram Sabha, which is headed by the Gram Pradhan. Under the existing provisions, funds for the Gram Sabha, that is village Panchayat, are directly being allocated from the center to execute rural development programs like IRDP, JRY, etc. The Panchayat has been entrusted with the responsibility for the promotion of agriculture, rural industries, provision of medical relief, maternity, women and child welfare, maintaining common grazing grounds, village roads, tanks, wells, sanitation and execution of other socio-economic programs. Further, in Panchayat level planning, in some places they are authorized to supervise primary education and collect land revenue. Presently, Gram Panchayats are involved in the identification of beneficiaries in anti-poverty programs. There are about 2.2 lakh Gram Panchayats, 5,300 Panchayat Samitis and 400 Jilla Parishad in the country. It has been found that elected representatives of Panchayat Raj institutions are largely unaware of the political and economic dimension of development issues and lack planning and managerial skills. This is particularly true of women elected representatives who are performing their duties under some severe constraint of different kinds. Further, the main objective of this planning was to absorb local labor surpluses and greater involvement of people in the formulation and implementation of development plans. Hence, by the end of 1983, adopt a system of block level planning integrated into national system was available. The relevance of block level planning is based on the viable areal and population size. More of to the regional and local problems is here identification of target groups, optimum utilization of regional/local resources and greater participation of people in plan formulation and implementation. The entire strategy of such planning is based on employment planning, growth center planning, credit planning. Further, it is an action-oriented planning pertaining to the development of agriculture, irrigation, mainly minor irrigation, soil conservation, animal husbandry, pisciculture, forestry, minor processing of agricultural products, small and cottage industries, creation of local level infrastructure and development of social services like water supply, health, education, shelter, sanitation, local transport, and welfare plans. Then the entire process of block level planning passes through 7 stages. These include: first, identification phase; second is resource inventory phase; third is plan formulation phase; fourth is employment plan phase; fifth is aerial or layout plan phase; sixth is credit plan phase; and seventh is integration and implementation phase. The main objective of such planning include self-reliance, solution to the problems of unemployment, removal of socio-economic disparities, creation of skill to promote self-employment and self-reliance, improvement in productivity, and optimum utilization of local resources. Thus, the main factor of such planning is the identification of target group, introduction of development plans to generate employment, popularization of minimum need programs, and implementation of special programs for weaker section of the society. With the coming of Janata government in power in 1977, the bottom-up approach was emphasized in planning. The report on the working group 1978 has emphasized following objective of block level planning. They are: optimum utilization of the development potential of the region. Secondly, higher proportion of profit to weaker section, that is small and marginal farmers, landless agricultural laborers, and rural artisans. Fulfillment of minimum needs, construction of socio-economic infrastructural bases to achieve aforesaid objectives, formulation of institutions to check the exploitation of poor people, development of such infrastructural facilities which could generate asset for the interest of poor and weaker section of the society. Similarly, technological upgrading and skill creation and removal of total unemployment through public works is possible. It is also argued that Gram Panchayat and development blocks are too small to act as the smallest unit of planning. Also, there is complete lack of administrative framework and data collection system at these two levels. Hence, there would be a number of difficulties in the formulation and execution of plans at village and block levels. So these are the references through which you can study the multi-level planning. Thank you.